Minutes from now. This spacewalk is scheduled to last until 4:15 in the morning Eastern Time, but it could end earlier than that if the crew gets its work done early. The work is going to be difficult. Finding the leak on the Spektr module. They're using exotic cutting tools, including this one demonstrated by Mike Foale earlier this week, to dig through insulation outside Spektr. The most likely spot for the leak is in the area of Spektr's radiators, the big white panels which seem to have taken the major hit when an out-of-control supply ship bashed into the space station. Leon, you won't believe the pictures I'm about to show you. They're taken by the Progress resupply ship as it careened out of control. The Progress was supposed to dock with the space station down here. As you can see, it is going 90 degrees out of the way, pointing toward the space station in this direction. Major mistake. The pictures were recorded off a TV set inside MIR. They showed the Progress begin to spin wildly as it approached the space station. It shouldn't be doing what it's doing right now. It shouldn't be going fast. It should be stopping and backing away. And in a moment, you're going to see a big clunk on your screen. That's when the first impact occurred on the MIR Space Station. That was the commander of MIR. There's another hit, the second hit by the Progress of the MIR Space Station. And now this camera in the nose of the Progress resupply ship is pointing out towards space. The rear end of the Progress supply ship is going to hit the space station next. It won't be as visible a bash, but as soon as you see the picture on that small TV screen stop, that's another impact. These are the radiators down the side of the Spektr module. And there's another hit. There were 7 different hits on the side of MIR by this Progress resupply ship. The cosmonaut and astronaut who are going outside in 38 minutes now know generally where to look based on these pictures and others they have seen. So they'll be doing a major, complicated spacewalk. There's one of the radiators on your screen on the lower left, just above the words "from MIR." There's damage there. There's damage to that insulation, the yellow stuff that you see. There's a lot of damage there. Solar panel hit here, and as they pan down the solar panel, there's some more damage to it. There's a lot of area for them to look at. The solar panel isn't causing the leak directly, but they'll be having to re-tilt these solar panels because after they reconnected them, their steering system wouldn't work on them to get more solar power out of this.
Boy, they got some work ahead of them tonight.
7 hours maybe, and it starts in about 37 minutes.
All right, you'll be here.
I will.
All right, John Holliman, we'll see you in a bit then. We have more.
Are they really outside yet? What's happening?
Lynn, we're out of communication with the MIR Space Station for about another 3 minutes. People at NASA's Mission Control in Houston tell us that they believe the hatch is open, but they won't know until the cosmonauts can call down to the ground and tell them. Mike Foale and Anatoly Soloviev, the commander of MIR, have up to this moment, the last time they got communication, were right on schedule. The hatch scheduled to open 6 minutes ago. And what is supposedly happening at this moment is that Mike Foale is installing an insulation ring, a ring of smooth material around this fairly small hatch from MIR to the outside world, and that's to protect the spacesuits as he and Anatoly Soloviev go outside. What is going on at this moment, if they are on schedule, is that Foale is going out feet first to the outside. He will go out and immediately hook up his a little tether wire from his spacesuit to a boom that is outside the MIR space station, and then his toolkit will be handed out to him. He'll hook it onto the same pole. Then MIR Commander Soloviev will come out as well. He'll hook onto the pole. And then this whole pole is going to swing on the outside of MIR from the end where the airlock is all the way over to the other end of MIR, the Spektr module, where the damage is. They're doing that to keep them from having to clamber over the outside part of the space station. We'll be getting live pictures in the next 2 minutes. When we get some, we'll share them with you.
Thanks, John. We'll wait with you. Tributes, meanwhile, are pouring in from around the world.
Lynn, we don't have live picture yet, but we do have live radio. We'll listen in if you want for a second or two. The cosmonauts are saying, yes, the hatch is open, and yes, they're beginning this spacewalk. They're on their way outside, and then, in fact, why don't we listen to the NASA commentary? You'll hear some Russian language translated by a NASA translator, and we can just get the latest. Well, we're not hearing anything. Sometimes quiet is good. Here we go.
You're looking at a live picture of the front screen map at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow.
This is the voice of NASA commentator Rob Navius is who you're hearing right now.
The leak check was completely successfully, and you had no problem? Yes, we found out it was okay.
So the spacesuits were checked for leaks, and they aren't leaking. The last time there was a spacewalk on MIR a couple of weeks ago, one of the cosmonaut spacesuits did leak at the glove, where the glove connects to the arm, and delayed the spacewalk by about 30-40 minutes.
The first spacesuit is being cooled. Yes, we can see that on the telemetry.
Lynn, you'll remember the last time we talked about the fact that the cosmonaut and astronauts are wearing cool suits that are tiny little capillary tubes in a mesh over their bodies, and they're reporting that both of those cool suits are working properly right now. We continue to wait for pictures from this, but we can tell our viewers that even though we don't have pictures to confirm it, the cosmonauts are saying everything's okay. They're radioing to the ground that their equipment is working properly, the hatch is open, and they're beginning this spacewalk. Could last up to 7 hours. Lynn?
Okay, so it'll be probably, what, at least 3 a.m. Eastern Time, and we hope it will be uneventful.
Exactly right. We
Thanks,
can keep
John.
these guys safe. It'll be a great night.
We'll be checking with you. Thanks for watching. What's going on MIR? Of course, we thank you for joining us. After
Spektr module to reconnect power cables. Back on Earth, Russian space officials handed down a report assigning blame for the collision earlier this summer that damaged MIR. It was the biggest accident in the 11-year history of the MIR Space Station. Now Russian space officials say it was the fault of both cosmonauts and the ground controllers. The June 25th collision occurred as MIR commander Vasily Spliev and flight engineer Alexander Lazutkin were practice docking a Progress supply ship. The supply ship crashed into the MIR, cutting its power in half. Russian space officials launched an investigation. The report, issued Thursday, blamed the cosmonauts and unnamed ground controllers. The announcement was unexpected because earlier in the week, reports indicated only the cosmonauts would be held responsible for the incident. The cosmonauts returned to Earth in mid-August. In a news conference, Commander Spliev lashed out at critics and said it's a long tradition in Russia to find a scapegoat. Meanwhile, efforts aboard MIR to repair the damage continue. Cosmonaut Anatoly Solovyev and astronaut Michael Foale ventured outside MIR this weekend in the first in a series of planned spacewalks to rehabilitate the crippled space station. The purpose of the spacewalk was to look for holes in the Spektr module, caused when the Progress supply ship slammed into MIR in June. They took a close look at an area where a broken solar panel connects to MIR. A leak could be there. It will take more investigation to be sure. The space shuttle Atlantis is scheduled to dock with MIR later this month to pick up astronaut Michael Foale and deliver David Wolf, who will serve aboard MIR for the rest of the year.